Hi everyone, how are you today, my chicken babies? I hope you're doing well. So today I've got another two piles for you as per usual. Hold on, I need to take a sip of coffee. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so we're gonna get into who is thinking of you. And maybe like what those thoughts are and kind of what they're reflecting on. Definitely keep it open ended. It's not, I'm not shuffling with the intention that it's a romantic person. So it doesn't have to be at all. It could be a friend, it could be someone you haven't spoken to in a long time, could be a coworker. Really keep it to what it feels in your intuition, but don't come in with a preconceived idea that it has to be about someone, okay? Anyway, pile number one here is the rubber ducky with the Hermetic Tarot deck. Pile two is the ladybug with the African Tazama deck. So go ahead and take a deep breath, choose what pile you'd like, and I'll put the timestamps down below. Hi, pile number one. How are you? This is for everyone that chose the rubber ducky or the Hermetic Tarot deck. Let's see who is thinking of you and what those thoughts may be. I'm kind of nasally. I was just outside in the rain. I took a walk and then I came in, had a bit of a cry, and then had some coffee and was like, felt refreshed, but you know, I sound super nasally now. Sometimes you just need a good cry and you're like, okay, now, nice. I've like cleansed my emotional palate today. Let's have a great day. I don't know. Is anyone else like that? Who is thinking of you? Ooh, we got the Empress. So it could be a very feminine energy, maybe your mother. Oops. Okay. King of Wands, Ten of Cups in reverse. Okay, we got the Knight of Pentacles, Ace of Swords in reverse. Let's see. We got the Empress. Let's just put these cards out. We got the Death in reverse. Okay, so right off the bat, I'm feeling definitely family is thinking of you. I am also feeling with the Page of Cups some sort of past romantic interest might also be popping up here. But there's definitely a strong sense of family. So it could also be like an ex that you made a family with or was a very big part of your family. But there's definitely a very strong element of maternal energy, and with the Empress here as well. Just, I wouldn't even say feminine energy, but it's more energy of like nurture, like that maternal energy, yes, but it's energy that's waiting for something to, it's not waiting, sorry, absolutely not waiting. It's sitting in their garden, having all of the abundance around them. So someone that generates a lot of power. So this feels, with all of that being said, this feels like it was someone who was very significant in your life. This also could have been a boss that is kind of an energy of that too, but or like a mentor. With the King of Wands in reverse and the Empress here, there's an impression that there's a couple people thinking of you. One particular energy, this kind of maternal energy, could be a grandmother, could be an ex, whatever. You know, you could have felt like your ex really took care of you in a lot of ways. But with the Death in reverse, the Ten of Cups in reverse, there's a sense that the emotional fulfillment, the happiness was really difficult to find. With the Death in reverse, there's a sense of transformation and rebirth and wanting to go through a rebirth together. But it gives me the impression, I mean, with the Death in reverse and the Empress, this could have been a grandmother or a mother who's passed on for sure. But with the Death in reverse, the Ten of Cups in reverse, it could also just be representing a metaphorical, emotional sort of entrapment of connection that you guys never sorted. You know, with the Death and the Ten of Cups here in reverse, it's very much like you guys wanted to see eye to eye. You guys wanted to a compromise, but in some way with the Ten of Cups in reverse, it feels like there was never any sort of emotional success. There wasn't this, um, no matter how hard you tried it, it feels like there's this emotional disconnection. It does feel in a lot of ways for a lot of you, this would be the relationship with your mother or your grandmother. There's a sense here of always wanting to impress that person, show that person your accomplishments. Now, there's definitely a sense of, the people thinking about you, but this main energy here that's thinking about you, there's a sense of them wanting you to almost recognize that they're always in your heart. There's also an energy here of like not being so close to each other, maybe physically, maybe you guys are in a separation, maybe you're not speaking right now, but there is definitely the sense of being a bit kinder to yourself, being a bit nicer on yourself in regards to this. With the Ace of Swords in reverse, the World in reverse, both of you have to go through different cycles and different lessons before you're able to align your perceptions again. There isn't this energy of like, we'll never speak again. No, but there's this energy of slow and steady wins the race. There's an energy of, through time, you guys are definitely changing, but with the Page of Cups, the Four of Cups, there is a lot of stagnation. There is a lot of stubbornness. There's a lot of not wanting to change our perspective. So there's a sense that this person thinking of you is someone that you might butt heads with a lot, but it's someone that they wish you well, and they do really like love you, and they do have a lot of love for you, but this is also someone who is really, it's hard for them to get out of their own perception. It's hard for them maybe to take self-accountability emotionally, and it might be hard for you in ways to have boundaries or take your own self-accountability. So yeah, that person is definitely one person thinking of you. There is also kind of a smaller energy that I was talking about earlier with like the Page of Cups, the Page of Pentacles in reverse, the Knight of Pentacles. It does feel like a couple people from your past romantically who maybe things didn't really get off the ground, or they didn't, progress for a long time. They might be thinking of you, but there's a sense that these are connections that it was like short, but it was really, really powerful. You may have only spent a few months with them, but there's a sense here with like, and I get that impression from, like the Page of Cups, for example, the Page of Pentacles. These are, possibilities, opportunities. The Knight of Pentacles isn't very mature either. But then we have, this energy of like the Death and the Ten of Cups in reverse and the Empress and the King of Wands. And it's almost like you awoken someone to their energy of the Empress, to their energy of recognizing their own power, their own inner goddess and temple. And with the King of Wands in reverse, it gives me the impression that they didn't realize until maybe now how significant and powerful your like thought processes were on their life and their own transformation. There's a sense with the Ten of Cups in reverse, the King of Wands in reverse, they've been really avoiding the emotional connection, or really avoiding maybe how deep the emotional connection was. But with the Death here in reverse, I get this impression with the Page of Cups, the Four of Cups, no matter who they connect with, they can never find a connection that clicks as much as you guys clicked. And I think there's a sense, and I'm not saying that in a way to like get your hopes up or like give you false confidence about something, but there's a sense here that this person, friendship, not friendship wise, whatever it is, they just miss talking to you. They miss being in your life. They miss having conversations with you. They miss seeing your perspective. There's a sense with the World, the Ace of Swords in reverse, you have very unconventional ways of thinking, and their view on your perspective, they value your perspective, I guess, a lot, to the point where they sometimes just ask themselves, what would you say to them? How would you react to this? What is the advice you would give them? It's very much like you instilled them with a lot of wisdom. You instilled them with a lot of power of self. And there's kind of this reflection that, there's, another person, there's multiple people thinking of you, but one person in particular is thinking of you, that really misses how the advice you give, like how you give advice. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's like your perception. It's like they're just sitting there and they're like, I just want to ask them this question because I feel like their answer would be so different than what I would think. And they'd bring up very good points for me to really reflect on. And so there's this sense that they miss the reflection. They miss the way your mind works. But there's also with, the Knight of Pentacles here and the Page of Pentacles in reverse, there is this energy of wanting to reach out, wanting to say something, maybe wanting it, but it's more like this person feels like they want the opportunity to bump into you. And so I do think that you might actually, and now I'm smelling a lot. And so it feels like confirmation when I smell, like all of the smells around me are like just randomly heightened. So that for me feels like confirmation to this. It does feel like you will bump into them. They will either be invited to something you're invited to, or you're at the grocery store, there's something super random. But anyway, through the grapevine, somehow it feels like they're going to have the opportunity to bump into you. So I do feel like for some of you, one of the people that's thinking of you, or one of the people that's coming out here in pile number one, for some of you, you guys will actually physically see this person and have a conversation. Now, I think that the third sort of energy that's kind of thinking of you is actually... it feels like a friendship, but I was going to say, like, the reason why I said actually is because it feels like someone quite close to you, like a friend that's quite close to you. It honestly feels like your mental health maybe hasn't been the best lately. It may be dealing with, like, the maternal figure, and maybe dealing with, like, the separation of the past person I was just saying that was thinking of you. That could also be a thing. But there's a sense that there's just, like, a really good friend that's really looking out for you and thinking of you consistently right now, and wanting to, like, find ways to help you feel better, wanting to find ways to help you ease your situation. With the Death in reverse, the Ten of Cups in reverse, it does feel like, there have maybe been a lot of things around you just piled on you, and you're trying to find gratitude, and you're trying to be grateful and thankful and hopeful, optimistic. But there's also this sense of, like, I am drowning in things right now. So definitely with the Empress, there is an energy here of, like, people around you just wanting to lift you up, wanting to show you more love. So definitely sometimes when you're feeling down, or you're feeling a little bit, like abandoned, remind yourself of that. Okay, let's get some oracle cards for you, pile number one, about the people who are thinking about you. I'm sorry, I'm grabbing the oracle deck, but it wouldn't come out. And I had a sip of coffee. Sip of coffee. There we go. Journey to Wholeness. This card comes out a lot, I feel, on YouTube. Like, every time I shuffle on TikTok, I feel like it doesn't come up. But when I shuffle on YouTube, yeah. Okay, Gracious Receptivity and Starseed Elemental. Okay, so you're definitely having, like, telepathic communication with some of the people thinking about you. With the receptivity, there's definitely a sense here of knowing that people are thinking just as much, just as mutual, just as mutually. With the Journey to Wholeness, this is all about self-love, remembering we are one. So there's a sense here of when, you know, these people are thinking about you, you may get surges of just thoughts about them. And there's a sense of reminding yourself you are whole in that situation. When, like, out of nowhere, you haven't been thinking about these people, and then out of nowhere it just comes in your mind. There's a sense of reminding yourself you are whole and complete without them. But you do miss the space that they took up in your life, and that's okay. With the starseed elemental, that's there for me is definitely like just a reminder here that you are connected to them. That's the like telepathic conversations that I feel are going on with you and this person. It's the thing with the starseed elemental. It's a very joyful card, the card, but it, you know, it is talking a lot about our inner perspectives, our wonder, our imagination, the inquisitive energy we have. So with this sense, there is this energy of like, sometimes play with it, sometimes play with, you know, when you're really thinking about someone, sometimes just have a conversation in your head and feel their energy, feel their comfort, you know, yeah, you know, let it kind of overtake you and fill you with joy. So yeah, definitely don't, because there is a sense maybe that you're over, like when you're thinking about them too much, you're like, are they thinking about me too? But yeah, with the gracious receptivity, this here is all about that gratitude, having that gratitude, feeling that gratitude, yeah, expressing your gratitude. I definitely think this is also a card of letting you know that the people around you that are thinking of you, you know, are help, like in some way it feels like their energy is helping you get more gratitude in your life. So do expect to see things changing, do expect to see things kind of popping up as a result of people just thinking about you. It'll be random things like someone calling you and being like, I was just thinking about you, and you find yourself very grateful for that conversation. So there's a sense of like little moments and experiences coming in your world that are going to bring more gratitude for you, going to bring small gifts that are going to make you feel more joy. But it does feel like in regards to the people thinking about you, there is this group of people who do want to lift you up. And then there is kind of this person that does know they left unfinished business and does know that, yeah, does know that they kind of didn't explain everything. Maybe there is a sense, right, with that. And then there's that maternal energy, but there was a sense with that kind of second person where they kind of left the unfinished business, didn't really say anything. Well, I wouldn't say didn't say anything, but it just feels like there isn't a lot of clarity. There isn't a lot of, yeah, understanding what happened in that situation. They are also thinking of you and that maternal energy. So if you are experiencing tension with your mother or experiencing a loss or anything like that, there is that maternal energy coming out, wanting you to know that it is there. Yeah. Okay, pile number 1, thank you for joining me today. I'll see you next time. Bye. Hi, pile number 2. How are you today? I hope you're doing well. I need some coffee. Okay. This, oh gosh, choking. This is for everyone that chose pile number 2. This is going to be your reading. Okay, so pile number 1 was very interesting. There was like 3 different energies. A maternal energy, kind of like an ex, sort of ex-friend, ex-romantic partner, but someone that they used to be quite close with, that kind of they left unfinished business with. And then also just their friends, kind of feeling like they're going through a lot. Yeah, and wanting to bring gracious gifts to them, I guess. Okay, sorry, pile number 2. I'm already getting focused on the cards. I feel like I'm not shuffling so well. Let me shuffle that again. But let's see who's thinking of you, pile number 2. That was even worse. There we go. This deck sometimes is a little bit stiff and harder for me to shuffle, but I got it. Okay. I love this deck, but it is durable. I will say that. They spent their money on this deck. The Justice card. the Eight of Pentacles. I love the Eight of Pentacles. So with the Justice, the Eight of Pentacles, there is probably someone thinking about you that feels like karmically in some way, like they like screwed up, but it feels in some way like they're facing their karma and they're understanding how they didn't put in the same amount of effort, how they didn't maybe make as much of an effort as they could have. Yeah, we got the Four of Wands in reverse. This might be an ex or like a fiance, someone that you made, it could be an ex-friend, someone you made a long-term commitment with. With that Five of Swords, though, yeah, partnership with this Two of Cups. We got the Ten of Wands with the Eight of Pentacles. Then we got the Four of Cups in reverse with the Three of Wands. Okay, we got the Five of Swords and the Four of Wands. Let's clarify those. Okay. Well, we got the Magician. We got the Wheel of Fortune. And we got the Hermit. Okay. So, pile number 2. It feels like you may have been with someone or like had dreams with someone. This could even just be like a best friend. Like, I don't want you to think of it as just a romantic partner, because it does feel like this could have been you going traveling with a best friend or like making commitments with a best friend. But there's a sense here that you guys were in a partnership. You guys really were going to do something. You guys made a long-term commitment, and it feels like one of you backed out, or you know, it just didn't work out. It didn't align. Now, it feels like that person is the person thinking of you primarily. With the Justice, the Two of Cups in reverse, there's a sense of really regretting not taking this step and not doing this and not committing to you. And the thing is it's not even that they feel like it would have worked out and been the best thing ever, but I think with the Eight of Pentacles in reverse and the Ten of Wands in reverse, there's a sense that they feel like they just give up on things. There's a sense that they're kind of coming to a lot of like they have a lot of self-awareness, but it's almost like a lot of enough self-accountability to admit these things to themselves. And there's a sense here that they understand that they maybe don't commit to things fully. They maybe put energy into things, but then they just get comfortable with it and they don't put in effort anymore. There's a sense here that in all facets of their life, they kind of lack effort. The consistent effort, the small consistent effort. It's like they'll start at the beginning and then they'll get comfortable and lack the consistency they need to maintain like the healthy relationship they need. And that's for many things. That's like work projects, that's, you know, romantic relationships, friendships. There's just a sense that they do this in multiple, you know, connections and relationships. And there's a sense that they're thinking of you a lot because I think that they feel like they can kind of see a lot of what you were saying to them. They kind of recognize now what you mean. I do think, though, with the Three of Wands and the Four of Cups in reverse, there's a sense of them kind of asking themselves what they actually want in the future. Sorry, the Two of Wands in the Four of Cups. There's a sense of them feeling like they kind of, like it almost feels like they feel like they helped you. Like they almost feel like they did you a favor by kind of, you know, ending this or not wanting this anymore, or like, you know, you did yourself a favor if you left. There's a sense here with the Two of Wands and the, you know, the Ten of Wands in reverse that they also felt like a burden. And in some way, I think that their avoidance of commitment is also because they feel like a burden to people and they would rather just not commit to something than feel like they're burdening someone else. I do think that with the Five of Swords and the Magician as well, there's a lot of overthinking here. There's a lot of like, you know, overthinking how they want what they want. There's a sense of like selfishness that they feel they have, but there's also a sense of like, I've sacrificed a lot for others. And the thing is that they get comfortable and then they kind of blame their sacrifices on others. And that's kind of what they're reflecting on right now. It's like they're thinking about you, but they're kind of also reflecting on how maybe they are using, you know, relationships as an excuse to not progress or as an excuse to not move forward. And I think that with the Five of Swords and the Magician, there's kind of this need of like thinking about, I know it sounds redundant, but there's this need of them thinking about their relationship so they can actually take accountability in some sense. And I think that right now they're really thinking about like their past friendship with you, or their, past relationship with you. Then we move into the Four of Wands in reverse with the Wheel of Fortune and the Hermit. So with the Wheel of Fortune and the Hermit here, there is definitely a sense to kind of continue on with this person. There are other people thinking about you, and I'm going to get to that too. But with the Four of Wands in reverse, the Wheel of Fortune, I think there's a sense here of wishing they could have a do-over. Wishing that in some way with the Four of Wands in reverse, they recognize that they lacked the commitment that they said or that they promised. And with the Hermit, I think there's just been a lot of soul searching, and there's this desire to change the cycle, and this desire to maybe, with the Magician here, it gives me the impression that there's this desire to see you and apologize, or see you and show you how much they've changed. I don't feel like it's going to happen right away, but there's like a lot of thought about that, a lot of daydreaming about that. So I think that in some way they want to manifest that. I think that another set of people that are thinking about you are your coworkers right now. It feels like you've spent a lot of time at work lately, maybe, or a lot of time starting to build a business, build something up from the ground up, build something from the ground up. If not, it feels like maybe you've progressed at work. But here's the thing. It feels very much like the people thinking about you, they're very, they are very impressed with your work. They're very dedicated to working with you. But I think there is this sense of maybe them feeling like you kind of chewed more than you can swallow, you know what I mean? Or you put more in your mouth than you can chew. I feel like I've forgotten that expression. Anyway, there is a sense, though, here of them knowing you have a lot of drive, of them knowing even if you don't know something, you will do what it takes to learn that thing. I do feel like, though, with the Five of Swords, the Magician, there's a sense of those around you that you're working with kind of unsure on what it is you're wanting, what it is you're, like, asking of them. So if at the workplace you feel like you're having a difficult time, you might need to ask maybe for clarity or help others get clarity. That might be important right now. I do think, though, that these people really believe in you, and they believe in your dream, and they believe in your success. I think it's just a matter of communication and a matter of them seeing your vision in the way that you see your vision. So yeah, I do also feel like in some way, it doesn't feel like okay, yeah. Now, I do feel like in some way, too, there's like another energy kind of coming forward. And this energy for me is an energy of someone like from the past, but it's not necessarily like a romantic person. The first one felt like it was either romantic or like your best friend, someone super significant that you had a very strong emotional attachment. This feeling isn't as much of that, but this is a feeling of like someone from the past that's really inspired you lately. And it feels like you've been thinking about them, and they've actually been thinking about you as well. This is an energy of someone that I feel like you met for maybe like a short period of time, or like you were never really that close with them, but you always got along with them. There's a sense here of some of the kind words they said you've been replaying in your head, and you've been replaying how they're inspiring your life a lot. And I think that in some way they've been doing the same for you. There's this, energy of like people you've met in your travels, or people you've met along the way. More people than you realize that are thinking of you and wanting, you to, and like just wishing you well, not wanting you to acknowledge that. But I guess like when they think of you, they're just kind of sending you good energy. And there's a sense with the Two of Wands, the Four of Cups in reverse, that you've probably traveled, or you've been doing a lot of traveling, maybe thinking of it. And the people you've met along the way have definitely been thinking about you. But if you haven't done much traveling, that's not going to be for everyone, that message. But if you haven't done much traveling, there is a message here that maybe your friends are hoping you go traveling, or wanting you to go traveling with you. And so they've been thinking about you and maybe asking you. And those are more of like the surface level kind of people thinking of you. Okay, let's get some oracle cards for you, pile number 2. Ooh, vulnerability. You know, I feel that a lot with that person thinking of you from the beginning, like the first person. You know, I feel like they're getting a lot more vulnerable with themselves, and I love that. Ooh, a paradigm shift. Okay, perception shift. Harmonic flight. Okay, so definitely that first person you're thinking of, I think there's definitely a message here of knowing that you guys are reaching some sort of like harmony and peace and civility. It feels like for a long time you may have not had peace in this connection. You may have not understood why they did what they did. That is coming. The clarity is coming, and they're doing the self-work on their end right now to figure it out. And so you might not ever get a message, but there is a sense that one day you will get a complete and utter epiphany, a moment of clarity in which you know this is what happened. It could be from someone else, it could be from them themselves, it could be anything, but eventually you will, and you guys are definitely reaching some sort of like harmonic sort of energy, peace. With the vulnerability here, this is a reminder to be vulnerable with yourself, but it's also a message here that there are a lot of people thinking of you, and not necessarily thinking of you in a vulnerable way or like thinking that you're very vulnerable, but there's a sense here that people want to open up to you, that the people thinking about you want to be vulnerable, that the people thinking about you, especially your coworkers and stuff, it feels like they really encourage you, or like your friends around you that are supporting you maybe with this new project, new job, new business. There's a sense that the people around you want to be vulnerable, and this is a reminder to continue to be vulnerable with them. With the air here, this is a paradigm shift. This is the element air. So our intellect, our thought process, how we go about things. This is also, you know, our crown chakra and changing our perspectives. So I definitely feel like with this, you're entering a shift. You're entering a period where things are changing within your connections. But I think that they're changing too as a result of the people who are thinking of you right now. Okay, pile number 2, I'm going to end your reading there. Thank you for joining me today. I'll see you next time. Bye.